Today we're going to just take up space. Physically, metaphorically, we deserve to take up space in our lives on this planet. So we're just going to take up space today. The first exercise we're going to do is a wall angel. I have an imaginary wall behind me, but if you have a real wall that you would like to use, you can absolutely do that as well. If you're using a real wall, start by standing with your heels back against the wall and then pressing your lower back, elbows and wrists, and the backs of your shoulders into the wall. And then from there, you're just going to raise your arms up as high as they can go and staying on the wall and bringing your hands down. So we're taking up lots of space here. We're also working the muscles through the back of your body here to keep everything on that wall, real or imaginary. If you are using a real wall and it's too challenging to flatten your lower back into the wall, you can bring your feet away from the wall a little bit. That will give you a little help if you're limited by hip flexor mobility. And of course, if you can't flatten your lower back into the wall, just get as close as you can. And pause at the top, draw your hands back just a little further. Bring your arms down to the Y from the YMCA. Draw your arms back just a little bit further, checking in that shoulders are staying away from the ears. Your shoulders are low, even though your hands are up high. Come down so you're doing a T position. My arms are straight out to the sides. And draw the backs of your hands back again. And one more position where your arms are down at a diagonal from your body and draw the backs of your hands back in. Paying attention to where your mobility is limited, how it feels as your arms come up overhead, and how it feels as they come down. Wonderful. Take a little circle out for your shoulders. Sometimes when you're moving really mindfully, even though you can always, if you could always bring your hands up over your head, not a problem. But once you start moving your hands up over your head in a specific way, it can get a little bit tiring. So roll out the shoulders, open up through the chest, take a couple of deep breaths here. And now we're going to bring arms out to the side and do some arm circles. So I'm actually going to flex my palms here and do some nice little arm circles. My circles are even with my shoulders, so I don't have my circles coming too far ahead of my shoulders or too far behind my shoulders, just all in one nice even line here. Getting everything nice and warm and juicy so that when we stretch, it feels really fantastic. I'm strengthening the muscles through my back so it's easier to sit up straight so I have room to breathe. We'll hang out here for just another minute. If your arms start to get too tired, you can always come down, take a mini break, and come back to it. If you're getting bored here, tip your fingertips down and reverse direction for your circles. Make the circles a little bit bigger, trying to keep them centered on the shoulders still. Beautiful. All right, bring your arms down to your side. I'm going to bring my right arm across my body. Come into the stretch using my left arm to help me into the stretch just until I can just barely feel the stretch. So you don't have to go all the way into the stretch. Come to where you can just barely feel the stretch here and then start to play with angles. So I bring my shoulder up towards my ear, down, leave my shoulder in one position, move my hand up and my hand down. I can even draw a little circle with my hand, keeping that shoulder stationary. Beautiful. Hold that stretch here and look to the left and look to the right. Lean your ear towards one shoulder and then towards the other shoulder. Beautiful. Let your arms go down by your side, shake it out a couple of times, and we'll do the other side. So now my left arm is coming up, it's coming across the body. My right arm is helping me into that stretch again, till I can just barely feel the stretch, and I'll start to play with the angles. Bringing hand up, hand down, leaving the hand stationary somewhere in the middle, and then moving the shoulder up and down, If at this point you go, gosh, that's really not enough of a stretch, you could always come into the stretch more, but it's nice to give your body that courtesy call of start at a very minimal stretch and then go into it more once you see how it's feeling in that moment on that day. So looking left and right, dropping ear to the shoulder, and then to the other shoulder, drawing a little circle with my hand here. Lovely. All right, we will go ahead and stretch our shoulder and chest and back out with another stretch, a tricep stretch. So I'm going to reach up towards the ceiling with my right hand. Then I'll bend at the elbow with my right arm and I'll hold on to that elbow with my left hand, just helping myself into that stretch a little bit more. I'm reaching down my back here. Just playing with this stretch as much as feels good. If you don't feel comfortable holding on to that elbow at all, you could absolutely be here or here, wherever you're able to feel that stretch. Play with the angles by drawing your shoulder up towards your ear and dropping your shoulder away from that ear, by reaching down your back just a bit further, or even just by squeezing your thumb down towards your back. We'll switch sides, so now my left arm is bending, and I'm holding on to my left elbow with my right hand. See if you can notice any side-to-side differences. And you could draw the shoulder up towards the ear, or down away from the ear. Reach a little bit further down your back. Beautiful. And come on out of it. Do a few more shoulder rolls. Make sure you're stable, and then we'll do some neck rolls. Leaning your ear towards your shoulder, and then letting the head relax and roll all the way around. Tucking your chin in towards your chest. Beautiful. All right, we'll do a little cat-cow. Some of you might be doing this standing or sitting or on your hands and knees. Doesn't matter, we're just going for an arch and round situation here. I'll show you with this chair how I would do it. I will arch my back here and take a nice deep breath in, thinking about expanding through my chest as I breathe in, and then round, aiming to round especially through my lower back to give that part of my body a nice little treat. As I exhale. If I don't have any furniture around me, I could totally use my knees also. And arching. And rounding. Thinking about having a nice even curve through my spine here. So although my back does not arch very well, thinking about arching through the lower back, middle back. Your upper back doesn't arch too much, but your cervical spine a little bit. Nice and even. So although I can push the back of my head really far back, I'm not going to. I'm just going to go for that even curve. And then as I'm rounding, I'm not going to do the master slouch that I want to do. I'm going to evenly round throughout my back. So I have a little more round in my lower vertebra. Awesome. Go ahead, stand back up. We'll do a little bit of side bending here. I'm going to interlace my fingers, bring them up overhead. My feet will be wide apart here. And I will lean to the right and kick my hip out to the left. Getting a nice side bend here. Reaching as far to the right as I possibly can. And doing the same to the other direction. Start by interlacing fingers. Reaching to the left. Kicking the hip out to the right. And reaching as far as I can to the left comfortably. One last time each direction. Reaching and up, and reaching the other way. Awesome. Arms down to the sides. Now I would definitely recommend having something handy that you can grab onto. We're going to do some stuff on one foot. So I will definitely not grab onto a rolly chair because that wouldn't be secure enough, but I can grab onto this scale. You could grab onto a wall, just something to give yourself a little frame of reference. And we're going to do some hip circles. So I'm going to bring my knee up to the front, out to the side, around and down, just drawing the biggest circle I can with my knee here. Checking in, seeing if I can bring my knee across my body a little bit more, out to the side a little bit further, down is easy. And continuing those circles, seeing if I can make them bigger each time. If you really want to take up space, you can pause and see where you can straighten your leg. So going out to the side, can I straighten my leg? Up. I know my leg's not going to straighten very far, but it does a little bit. Out to the side, straighten the leg, and down. Beautiful. Do the same to the other side. So grabbing onto my imaginary object this time, and doing that nice big circle that I'm drawing with my knee to give my hip a little bit of extra range of motion here. See if I can bring it across my body a little bit more, up a little bit higher. Even if I want to just help my body into this position with my hand, I have that option. And out to the side and down. See if I can do slightly larger circles each time. All right, and this last time around the clock, let's see if we can straighten the leg. Bringing your arm, your leg across the body here. If you want to hold on to it so you can straighten, that's fine. If you want to skip the straightening, that's fine too. So across the body, bringing it up, bringing it out, and outside the body, and straightening it as much as works for you. Beautiful. So for a little stretch, we'll bring the feet nice and wide apart, toes pointed out, and we'll sink down into a sumo squat. So hopefully I've angled my camera down enough that you can see this. I'm going to be doing a nice squat here, nice and wide, and then we'll rock a little bit side to side. If it's comfortable for you, you can place hands on knees. And if this squat position is not comfortable for you, you could absolutely keep your knees straight and rock your hips side to side this way, just getting a little bit of a stretch for them. If you'd like, you can pause in the stretch and then move on. And step back together. We'll take a really nice deep breath to end, and you guys are all set for the day. Have a fantastic afternoon, everyone.